Hello everybody, Styx here, TheTokenMinorities, bringing you another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. And this one happens to be against fellow token minority, Bacon. Not Flint. Don't let him convince you that it's Flint. But this was the semifinals of the winner's bracket, and considering he and I both knew each other's teams pretty well, we just decided to bring a bunch of pokes. Looking at our teams, his one is incredibly offensive and mine is incredibly defensive, so I guess you could say it's one of those unstoppable force versus immovable object things, although you could hardly call either of our teams unstoppable or unbreakable, and at this point I'm just rambling, so let's just go ahead and jump right into the battle. Due to the stallish and relatively slow nature of this battle, I've just decided to speed up the entire thing, some parts more than others. But at this point, I just decided to lead with my Charizard because it is a Mega Charizard X, and I think I'm being incredibly original by bringing it in first because, oh hey, I don't have to switch into Stealth Rocks. However, I did not take into account that Bacon is a Charizard expert, and he leads with his Mamoswine, who turns out to be jolly. I would have outsped an Adamant Mamoswine and burned it, but luckily he was convinced by Bluesy to go for the Stone Edge and not the Earthquake. An Earthquake would have definitely KO'd me and would have made his team much harder to take out. But since Bluesy convinced him to go for the Stone Edge, that does not take out my Charizard, and I'm able to get a burn off, and eventually I'll just come in and roost off the rest of the damage. Now I go into my defensive Rotom because Mamoswine can't really touch me at all. I'm just waiting for him to set up rocks, but apparently he does not have it as he has Life Orb. And I go for a Wisp, predicting the switch, and he doesn't. And at this point I go for a Volt Switch, again predicting the switch, because, I mean, even if he decides to stay in, Mamoswine can't do much. And Heatran comes out, and ladies and gentlemen, just let me tell you ahead of time, this Heatran should have been dead from the beginning. I mean, there will become a part where that Heatran just does not die, and it is incredibly frustrating. But at this point, Charizard can just roost off all that damage, come in later. Mamoswine, while it's burned, I do not want to take an Earthquake, because even though it is burned, like I said, a Life Orb stab Earthquake will still do a lot. I go into my Scarm, seeing this as an opportune time to set up my rocks, and maybe roost off the damage, because Mamoswine can't really do anything. He just goes for the Icicle Crash, which is his best move, and at this point he's just sacking his Mamo because it really can't do anything. And I flinch, which is highly unfortunate because now I don't get to set up rocks because he gets to switch in something. And yeah, he sends in his Landorus, and I'm not sure what this Landorus is going to do, so I just decide to stay in and go for my rocks, and he goes for the knockoff, which tells me that this is a Scarf Landorus. Well boy, I do not like dealing with Scarf Landoruses because they are fast and they hit very, very hard. But at this point, my Skarmory has done its job, it's set up rocks, and I'm just going to switch out and go into my Rotom. And he switches into his Heatran, which is a great play because my Skarmory can't touch his Heatran with really anything. But this is a good matchup for me, and I overpredict. This is one of many overpredictions I do with this Rotom. And as you can see by how much this part is sped up, this is just a Star War of me overpredicting. And oh, by the way, I have Earthquake. Yeah, that would kill like 6 Heatrans at this point. But unfortunately, I keep predicting a Protect or a Switch, and I don't want to reveal the Earthquake because then he'll know and he'll always switch out, and I want to try to KO that Heatran. I'm rambling, but basically, I don't want to reveal it to the point where he can play around it. And basically, I'm just going to be going into Rotom, Sylveon, all this stuff to try to make up for my overplays. And now that 2 pokes of mine are toxic, I just decided that Sylveon needs to Heal Bell everything. Oh, it appears I got some damage off. I think that was a Hydro Pump, which did absolutely nothing to the Heatran relatively. And Sylveon, I just set up a Wish, and I finally go into my Charizard on this coming turn because that Heatran's been in there too long. It just needs to die. And that Lava Plume did a little too much for my liking. And finally, we have a dead Heatran. Oh man, that was so frustrating. But now as Landorus comes in, I know it's going to be faster because it's Scarfed. He intimidates me, I can't really do anything, so I just decide to switch out and go into my Rotom because even if he just wants to U-turn or knock off, he can't really do anything. And he just goes for the safe Earthquake. And of course, I'm a little floating laundry machine. I don't know the physics behind that, but I guess I'm a ghost, but not really, but Either way, this turn I just go for the safe Will-O-Wisp because nothing on his team is immune to it, and even though his Latios is a special attacker, I really love chip damage on Latios because looking at my team, I can't really do anything to it, unfortunately. And this turn I switch in my Sylveon, which was far too obvious because he just nails it with a Psyshock and down goes Sylveon. I do not like having Sylveon go down that fast because now I can't really do anything to this Latios except for get chip damage on it. And I realize that everything on my team is O-code or can't hit it hard enough, so I just go into my Celebi, get some more damage off on it. He goes for the Defog, gets rid of my rocks for his Pinsir, and that's just highly unfortunate for me because now I'll have to waste another turn getting those up. And the best move I have to hit it with is Psychic. That does absolutely nothing. And now something needs to die. So I figured that Rotom, stupidly I figured that Rotom is going to be the least valuable member of my team. And even though he misses the Draco, I was going to sack it anyway. So I just leave it in, look up at the sky, see all those meteors, and yeah, down goes my Rotom. But this, luckily, is a double down. It is worth noting that it would have been a double down regardless, I'm pretty sure, had he hit the first time. And he just goes into his Neanderus. And I go into my Skarmory because I know he's going to go into his Landorus because on a double down you usually go for the fastest poke on your team, especially when it has U-turn like this. And right now, as you can see, once again, I have to speed this up because my Skarmory is just stalling the rest of his pokes. And yeah, I got my rocks up. That Mega Pinsir is going to die after 2 more switches. And by the way, it is worth noting that I am under the impression that the Azumarill is banded right now. You'll see how that comes to bite me in the butt later. But now, his Mega Pinsir is dead on entry, and I'm just roosting. It was kind of funny. During the match, I completely forgot that I lost my leftovers just because Roost was getting me so much more health than I really needed. And also, as it reveals later, I am in a speed tie with this Azumarill the entire time. And apparently I just kept losing every single speed tie during this whole stall scene because had he gone for superpower when I roosted, that would have been a dead Skarmory. And he reveals right here that nope, he is not banded. He is Citrus Belly Drum. And I think that, oh boy, I'm in trouble, except that I have Sturdy. I completely forgot that that was Skarmory's ability, and I get a Whirlwind, that Azumarill out. There is going to be no more belly drumming shenanigans today. But unfortunately, that means that my Skarmory is down to 1 HP, which is prime revenge killing for Lando. And I go into my Charizard just because Lando's locked in. I can cripple anything on his team with Wisp, and he just decides to leave his Landorus in, and right now he's doing pitiful damage with knockoff. I'm just going to roost it off. And while I could just roost stall for everything and let the burn take him out, I just decided to mercy kill him with the Dragon Claw right here. And all he has left is his Azumarill, which takes rocks damage and is not going to live an Adamant Earthquake from a Charizard, even though it is bulky. And that will be the game. Great game, Bacon. Your team really, really scared me, but luckily Skarmory was able to play around a lot of your pokes. And from this battle, I move on to the finals of the winners bracket. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, check out our Twitter page, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. You know the whole spiel. And this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.